Welcome to the Artwork of You, the podcast where your life is the canvas and you are the masterpiece. I'm your host, Lori Gouhin, and together we'll explore creativity, self-awareness, mindset, goal strategy, and the importance of accountability so that you can paint your life's portrait with confidence and ease. Remember, in the gallery of life, you're not just a spectator, you are the art. So let's grab our brushes and start creating the masterpiece that is you. Hello, my friends. I am so glad that you are here with me today because today I not only want to talk about my 90-day process of goal achievement, but I also want to walk you through it. So instead of talking in general terms about what coaching can do or why you might want to work with someone, today I'm going to walk you through a real example of how I coach, a 90-day journey from start to finish. We're going to talk about the goal of creating a digital product, breaking it down into manageable, actionable steps over a 90-day time frame. And now, just to be clear, even though the example that I'm sharing today is on creating a digital product, you can really apply this process to whatever you're working on. So really, it's a process of how to go from concept to completion with a structured approach to reaching your goal. And by the end of the episode, my hope is that you'll be able to see yourself taking these steps and knowing that with the right strategy and support and accountability, you can turn your big ideas into real, tangible results. So whether you're thinking about launching a product, growing a client or a customer base, or simply really just needing that extra push to go after whatever it is that you want to create, today you're going to get the how-to. All right, so let's start with phase one, and that's clarifying the goal. In the first week or so, the objective is to get really clear on what exactly you want to accomplish. This is such a critical part of the 90 days because without clarity, it's really easy to lose direction, get overwhelmed, or often even abandon the goal altogether. So in this example, as I said, my client had an idea for a digital product, a workbook or a mini course that could really help people organize and create a great personal brand. And it's a solid concept, but in the beginning, it was very vague. She wasn't sure who the ideal customer was or how this product would really stand out. So here's where we start. Together, we focus on defining the goal so that it's clear, specific, and achievable. Here's what that looks like. First, we break down the initial idea. What problem will this workbook or this course solve? Who exactly is it for? Is it geared toward entrepreneurs, maybe busy professionals, social media influencers? Because knowing the target audience can completely shape how the product is designed and marketed. And so for this client, this step reveals that the ideal audience is realtors looking to set themselves apart by having a unique brand that stands out in a very crowded market. So that's a perfect fit for a 90-day workbook, which is what she wants to create. So next, we turn that idea into a SMART goal. And of course, I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So instead of a vague goal like create a workbook, she refines it into something like design and launch a 30-page digital workbooks for new realtors so that they'll have a clear personal brand identity and an action plan to start building their online presence after they complete the workbook. And then she sets a target of 50 initial sales of the workbook. And so by making it specific and measurable, she now has a clear outcome to work toward, a 30-page workbook with a sales target of 50 copies. We're already setting up that end goal so it feels real and within reach. Now, during these first few days, there's often another challenge, and that's overwhelm from too many ideas. She, like many of us, starts brainstorming additional features, maybe a video module, maybe some bonus content, or maybe some question and answers. And while all of that could be great, adding too much from the start is really a recipe for more overwhelm and burnout. So the strategy here is to simplify. We focus on the core value of the workbook alone, and I remind her that the additional features can come later, maybe in a future version, because by keeping it simple, the goal becomes more achievable and less intimidating. Then we spend some time visualizing what that final product will look and feel like. This visualization helps her stay motivated and excited, which makes it easier to overcome any hesitations or any doubts because she can see the finished workbook in her mind's eye and the impact that it will have and how it will help the potential customers grow in their business. So there you have it. In just a week to 10 days, we've gone from that rough idea to a crystal clear, actionable goal. She now knows exactly what she's aiming for, who it's for, and has an idea of the impact that she wants to make. With that phase complete, we're ready to get into the next one, which is the planning and the strategy. This is where we'll map out the road ahead, so to speak, creating a structure that'll keep her on track and prevent that all too common pitfall of feeling very lost or stuck, again, overwhelmed. All right, so how does this work? Again, now that we've clarified her goal, the phase will take place roughly from day 11 to day 30. And the main objective here is to create a roadmap for her to follow with a clear plan in place so that she can break down the project into manageable steps and again, avoid that feeling of overwhelm. So we start with mapping out the timeline. Together, we look at the 90-day goal and we work backwards and set key milestones. For her, some of these milestones might be finishing the workbook outline, creating the first draft, gathering feedback, maybe setting up a simple sales page. Each of these becomes a smaller, more attainable goal that will bring her one step closer to when she launches. One of the first things that we tackle is creating a rough outline of the workbook. This is where she defines the main sections, the flow, the content she wants to include. And at this stage, it's really all about getting the big pieces into place. We're not aiming for perfection here. It's just a structure. And so once she has this outline, the project really starts to feel more concrete and she has a visual roadmap to follow. And then we move into identifying the key resources and the tools, because she's going to need tools for designing the workbook, a platform for selling it, and possibly even resources for marketing. This is an area where many people get stuck because there are so many options. So we focus again on simple, beginner-friendly tools, something like Canva for designing, maybe Gumroad or Shopify for the sales, and email marketing tools like maybe MailChimp or Flowdesk for promoting it. By keeping things very streamlined, she avoids getting lost in a whole world of possibilities. But again, now there's another common obstacle that often pops up here, and that's analysis paralysis, because she starts researching all of these tools and options and soon feels very overwhelmed. She starts to question if she's choosing the quote unquote right tool or if she should be adding more features. This is where I remind her of something very important. It's better to make a choice and move forward than to get stuck endlessly researching. So she agrees to choose simple, effective tools that'll get the job done, and she knows that she can refine it later if she wants to. So once the tools are selected, then we go into the step-by-step action plan, where we break the project into weekly tasks or goals. For example, week 1 is focused on drafting the content, week 2 on designing it, and week 3 on creating a simple marketing plan. And by assigning goals each week, she again has a clear to-do list, which makes the process feel much more manageable. One of the biggest benefits of this planning phase is that it really gives her a sense of control over the project. Instead of seeing it as one huge intimidating goal, like in the beginning, she now has a roadmap and each step really does feel achievable. And anybody who knows me knows I love to cook. So I guess you could say it's like following a recipe. As long as you take it one step at a time, you'll eventually get to that finished product or that finished meal. Finally, then, in this phase, we establish accountability checkpoints, and that's to stay on track. So she and I agree to check in not only, of course, in our weekly sessions, but also in between. My one-to-one coaching is very high touch, and I want my clients to know that I'm there for them between calls. So we review progress, I answer questions throughout the weeks. We also celebrate wins and adjust any part of the plan if it's needed. And this built-in accountability really ensures that she doesn't feel like she's going it alone and that she has the support to keep moving forward. By the end of day 30, she has a detailed action plan, the right tools, and a clear timeline to follow. She's ready to transition into the next phase where the real action begins, and that's consistently working on the project and bringing the workbook to life. So with the planning and strategy phase complete, she has that solid foundation. And the next phase 3 is taking action and staying consistent. And this is where she will actually start building out the workbook. And again, overcoming challenges and really keeping up with momentum. And this phase roughly spans from day 31 to day 70. And it's where all the planning starts turning into real progress. And for her, this is where she actively, as I said, builds out the workbook and she creates marketing materials and she starts laying the groundwork for a successful launch. This phase is where many people struggle with motivation because the excitement of the new idea has faded and then the finish line still feels far off. So the key here really is consistency, showing up every day to make steady progress. And this is how I keep her on track. First, we stick to the weekly action plan that we set up in the previous phase. Each week, she has specific goals to complete, like writing certain sections of the workbook, creating a few workbook pages in Canva, or drafting social media posts for the launch. Breaking it down in this way will help her to focus on just one piece of the project at a time. And of course, there are going to be challenges. And one of the big ones that often comes up at this stage is self-doubt. Because again, she might start wondering if this workbook will actually be valuable. Will people buy it? Or is she wasting her time? These kind of thoughts are normal. However, they can be so powerful sometimes that it is enough to derail even your best plans. This is where coaching can really make a difference. And I work with her on reframing these doubts as part of the process and remind her again that it's normal. And I also remind her of the SMART goal that we set in phase one. And we revisit that for clarity and for the purpose that we established. And sometimes simply just reconnecting to that original vision can really bring back that excitement and motivation to keep going. We also build in momentum boosting activities. Like, for instance, after completing the first few sections of the workbook, she maybe shares a sneak peek with a few trusted people to get feedback, because positive reactions and constructive feedback can really be energizing, and it can help you to see that the project is really coming together. And next, we focus on creating a routine to support that consistent action that she needs to be taking. And this might look like setting aside an hour each morning to work on the workbook, or dedicating weekends to bigger tasks like design. Consistency is all about building a rhythm that feels sustainable to you. For her, finding that groove is essential, but there's yet another obstacle that can also creep in during this phase too, and that's losing momentum. Even with a solid plan, life happens, you get distractions, unexpected responsibilities, or even sometimes you're just not motivated. And so to counteract this, we use a strategy called the 5-minute rule. And what that means is, if she feels resistant to working on the project, the rule is to just commit for 5 minutes. That's it. And often that's all it takes to get back into the flow. However, if it's still not working after 5 minutes, then she has complete permission to take a break and then just try again later. But really, more often than not, once those 5 minutes are up, most people feel motivated to keep going. We also, during this phase, keep up with our check-ins, of course, because these serve as accountability checkpoints where we continue to review what's been accomplished, we continue to identify any roadblocks that are coming up, and we adjust the plan as needed. And these check-ins really help clients feel supported and stay focused on the big picture without getting bogged down by all the daily to-do things. And by day 70, she really has made serious progress. She drafted the entire workbook, designed most of the pages, and even started gathering feedback. She is seeing her vision take shape, and the finish line is finally in sight. So she's motivated and confident and ready for the next phase, which is all about getting her product out into the world. And that phase is phase 4, the pre-launch and the promotion. And this is where we focus on building excitement and preparing for the day that she's going to launch her new workbook. And this phase generally covers day 71 to, say, day 85. And it's all about building excitement and setting up for a very smooth launch. First up, we start with creating a pre-launch content plan. Together, she and I will identify the main messaging that will resonate with the target audience. For example, since this workbook is designed to help new realtors create their personal brand identity, she plans content that addresses their pain points of finding clients in a crowded market, building a network, gaining confidence in their marketing. And then we decide on which channels to use for promotion. She's active on LinkedIn and Instagram, so we focus there. And we map out a series of posts, emails, and possibly even a live Q&A to engage with potential buyers and build their anticipation. The goal here is to start warming up the audience so that by launch day, people are ready and excited to buy. And then we work on creating a lead-up sequence for her email list. And this is a series of emails that will go out in the days before the launch. The first email could introduce the concept and talk about why this workbook is so valuable. The next email might provide a sneak peek or behind the scenes look at a few of the sections. Another email might feature testimonials or early feedback from those few people that got a preview. And this sequence builds interest and again reminds people to keep an eye out for launch day. Another important element of the pre-launch is offering an incentive for early buyers. So this could be something as simple as a small discount for those who buy on launch day, or a bonus resource like a one-page checklist or maybe a short guide that complements the workbook, because these extras will make people feel like they're getting even more value and encourage them to take action quickly. And now at this stage, self-doubt often does creep back in. You might wonder if you're being too pushy. Will anyone actually buy the workbook? And this is where we work on reframing the mindset around promotion. And I remind her that promoting her work is not about being pushy. It's about sharing something that can truly benefit her audience. And so we revisit the initial goals again and the purpose behind the workbook so that she keeps her motivation high. And in these last few days leading up to the launch, she also engages with her audience by replying to the comments, answering questions, and building more excitement. And this not only builds trust, but it also makes people feel like they're part of the process. And by day 85, she has created genuine excitement around the launch. And there's an audience of people who know what the workbook is, and they understand the value, and they're ready to purchase when it goes live. And so she's now fully prepared to launch with confidence, knowing that she has put the groundwork in to make this a success. With the pre-launch phase complete, we're ready for the final stretch. Phase 5, the launch and post-launch follow-up. This phase is short, but it's powerful. Generally from days 86 to 90. It's after all the hard work, planning, and consistent effort has been done, and she's ready to bring the workbook into the world. So let's break it down these last few crucial days where we focus on executing a smooth launch and setting up for the future. Launch day, if you've ever launched a product or if you've ever bought a product on launch day, it's a big moment, and understandably, it can be nerve-wracking. And so for her, the workbook is finally ready, the sales page is live, and the pre-launch work has some built-in anticipation. However, we're not just going to go live and hope for the best. There's a launch plan in place to maximize the impact. And we start with final checks to ensure everything is in place, testing the checkout process, making sure the links work, double checking the marketing materials. This attention to detail really helps prevent last minute issues that can disrupt the whole thing. And then it's time to go public. And so she announces the launch across multiple channels on social media and her email and even on text. And since she's already created so much of the content during that pre-launch phase, she is simply just executing the plan rather than scrambling to provide new posts or emails. And I cannot recommend that enough. Get a lot of that work done ahead of time. Again, so you're not in the moment trying to create content. During the launch day itself, she also stays very engaged because she's able to. She's able to respond to the comments, answer questions, and share any updates that she can to create a sense of excitement and community around the launch. And it also reassures potential buyers that she is truly invested in this product and is there to support them. And so after that initial push, we transitioned into the post-launch follow-up phase. And this step is a step that many people do overlook, but really it's incredibly valuable. And that's gathering feedback from early buyers and reaching out to ask what they loved and if there's anything they think that could be improved upon. This kind of feedback helps in refining the product for the future versions, and it shows the customers that their opinion matters. And so in these last few days, we also look at the launch data. She and I review the sales numbers, the customer feedback, and even the analytics on the sales page to see what worked and what could be improved next time. This is key because every launch is definitely a learning experience. And of course, we wrap up with a post-launch celebration. She has taken a rough idea, turned it into a tangible product, and shared it in the world within just 90 days. So taking time to recognize this accomplishment reinforces what she created, and it helps to really increase the confidence moving forward to whatever else she wants to create. And finally, we talk about the next steps. Maybe she wants to expand the product, add new features, or start planning for her next project, whatever it is. This experience, as I just said, has really equipped her with a roadmap that she can apply again and again. And so there you have it. That's the 90-day journey from idea to launch. This process takes you through clarifying your goal, creating a plan, taking consistent action, building excitement, and then launching successfully, and all the obstacles that come up along the way and how to move past them. I hope this example gives you a sense of what's possible with a clear vision and a structured approach, the right support, and most importantly, with accountability. And so, if you're listening and you have a big goal in mind, consider using this framework to take it from concept to reality. And if you're ready to get serious about your own goals, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you with your roadmap too. That's a wrap for today, my friends. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And remember to show up in your life like the masterpiece you are, because you are the artwork. Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Have a fabulous day.